Welcome to this morning's August 18th Franklin County Board of Commissioners general session agenda. As a reminder to everyone, this is a public meeting and is being recorded. We kindly ask that you maintain the same level of decorum as if we were meeting in person. For those of you that are calling in on your phone, please remember to mute your line by pressing *6. We will begin this morning's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Brown.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right. I need an approval of the minutes of the April 21, 28, and May 5th, 2020 general sessions, the August 13th and 20th briefing session, and the August 10, 12, and 14, 2020 administrative sessions.
So moved.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Voting, Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
The minutes have been approved. Thank you.
All right, let's move to the auditor.
Resolution number 543-20. First amended resolution authorizing the county administrator to enter into rental agreements for the benefit of the county auditor's office to secure space to host informal reviews of property valuations throughout Franklin County and to conduct other business in the amount of $13,880.
Good morning, President O'Grady, Commissioner Brown. I'm Michael Cinziano, your Franklin County Auditor. Appreciate the opportunity to present today's resolution. It is serving two purposes in support of the Auditor's Office triennial update and formal process. First, it amends resolution number 0107-20 that the board passed in February 2020 to remove a per agreement dollar cap on rental agreements executed by the county administrator, while also expanding the county administrator's authority to enter into rental agreements for the benefit of the auditor's office. So what this change was, traditionally during our informal triennial process, we had multiple locations. We would kind of do a road show around the county, 17 different locations. Obviously, because of the health pandemic and being responsive, we are pivoting and suggesting strongly that residents take advantage of virtual informal opportunities. But we still wanted to provide an opportunity for residents that would like a in-person experience to have that, which then takes us to the second component of the resolution, which specifically authorizes the county administrator to sign a 6-month rental agreement with the Columbus Urban League to set up a satellite office location in order to better serve the public. We always intended to have a offsite satellite location for the informals, but because of the pivot that we've done, we are looking at 3, one in Hilliard, one in Reynoldsburg, and then this one at the Urban League. We strongly encourage all Franklin County residents interested, once they receive their tentative value and they think it's too high or too low, or have questions, to visit your2020homevalue.org. That is our one-stop shop for property owners to then verify the value, look for frequently asked questions, as well as schedule that review. And again, they can do it online, but if they would like to go to an in-person and meet with an appraiser, they'll be able to do that in the Hilliard location, which is in a government space, so we didn't have contracting. Reynoldsburg, which was a lower contract, and then the agreement with the Urban League. What we're also excited with this contract with the Urban League is being able to perform additional office functions that aren't necessarily conducive to be doing on floors 19, 20, and 21 of the county building, while we're still working on social distancing and limiting the size of spaces. And so we really feel that by having the 3 permanent locations and this 6-month agreement with the Urban League, we'll be able to provide additional resources to some of our county's most vulnerable populations. We really appreciate your support, and I'm ready to answer any questions you may have.
I don't have any questions. John, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Commissioners, if I may, I'm sorry, Commissioner Brown,
Sure.
I recognize that Commissioner Boyce has joined us this morning.
Oh, great. Okay.
Welcome, Commissioner.
Boyce, do you have any questions?
I do not have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, I'll move for passage of 54320.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 543-20 has been adopted.
All right, the engineer. Thanks, Mr. Auditor.
Resolution number 544-20, approval of the farms at Jefferson Phase 3 subdivision plat, Jefferson Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Cornell Robertson, Franklin County Engineer, and I would like to begin by saying happy belated birthday to Commissioner Brown. I hope you had a great day.
I did. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Commissioners, this subdivision is in the northeast part of the county in Jefferson Township along Clark State Road, east of Babbitt Road, known as Farms at Jefferson Phase 3. It's a subdivision of 42 lots on 20 acres. This resolution is for your approval of the final plat. If you approve this resolution, I'll bring the final plat Mylar to the courthouse for you to sign later today. And in the interest of time and safety concerns resulting from the unfortunate COVID-19 coronavirus crisis, I would ask that you authorize Clerk Dean Hindenlang to sign on your behalf. And he could write your names in cursive on the lines and then initial to the right of those signings. And this is a process that I've actually seen utilized by other agencies even before the COVID-19. And so again, this would be in the interest of time, but more importantly, a way to minimize the interactions with folks who are seldom together or the passing of materials, title sheet Mylar, that has been through many different hands.
Great. I appreciate that. If there are no comments and
I do. Commissioner
Yeah.
Brown, I do have a question actually. So you're saying that by doing the signature format, what time will we save, engineer? Like, what's the issue with the timing, and how much time will that save? I got to tell you, I'm not a fan of the compromising of that process, because ultimately, we're still responsible for it. And so I just, there's an element of security there for me. I trust Dean with absolutely everything, but I feel like that's part of my responsibility. So I just want to know for sure what the timing issue is.
Right, and I certainly understand your concern. And this, again, I would propose only on a case-by-case basis, only for those instances when it is discussed and approved as part of a general session, and would only be proposed to be used for final plat Mylars and title sheet Mylars, not conventional contracts. And the time savings here will be with the developer, MI Homes. They are very interested in getting to the point where they can try to sell these lots, and they have been impacted just like we all have, and are hopeful that this process can move along. There are still other agencies that will need to sign off on the plats, the recorder and auditor, for example, and so there's still quite a few signatures, and just out of due respect with the three of you, there has been a bit of time involved in getting those around to each of the agencies for their signatures. And so this is just, I see it as a way for us all to do what we can to expedite things. And again, only to be used in the most certain situations of this nature.
Yeah. And I appreciate that. And I would just say that, I'm all for emergency circumstances where we've got to really move on something. But I think if we're going to work to expedite the process, then we need to look at changing the process so that it doesn't delay, the process and whatnot. And to be honest with you, I prefer that it's the other folks that should sort of maybe move it along faster, not the commissioners. I really don't, in my opinion, I think there is a process getting around to the three of us. But if there is a notification of urgency or expeditious, need, then I think we can accommodate that. But I'm just not a fan of giving up my signatory responsibility in the name of just simply moving things along. But I would rather revamp the process and look at how we can move things along faster. But I'm just not a fan of this. And I've had this, by the way, just as a note. I feel the same way about giving the administrator authority to sign on our behalf too. That's just my personal opinion of the way I operate. And so I'm just going to stand in the position that I would rather not, unless it is an emergency. I'd rather be a part of signing the materials myself.
I certainly understand, and I just thought I would present that. Another thing that might be considered would be on a commissioner by commissioner basis. Maybe there are some commissioners who would prefer this and others who would prefer to sign it themselves. And so that would
I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. I think, to each his own on that one. But for me, I'm going to feel a little more comfortable signing it myself.
Understand.
I think that makes sense. Why don't we keep it like that? And Dean, if you could reach out to us and we can have that option, I think that would make sense.
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Engineer, if you have something that needs to move fast, and I'm definitely sensitive to things just sitting around and whatnot, and so I understand that. I can't speak. I'm sure I can speak for my colleagues on this. We'll move it fast. We'll get it signed. We just need to know when there is something that you want moved quickly for the commissioners. If you share that with Dean, and Dean is outstanding at getting to us, and he's relentless about the signature. So trust me. You put it in Dean's hands, and he'll get it back to you quickly.
All right. Fair enough. Thank you all very much.
As a side note, Dean has brought documents to my house for me to sign. That's how serious he is, and he doesn't mess around with timing. So trust me on that one.
House calls. Very nice.
Yeah.
I'll move for approval of 54420.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting. Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
All right. Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 544-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 545-20, approval of the Farms at Jefferson Phase 5 subdivision plat, Jefferson Township, Franklin County, Ohio.
Commissioners, this subdivision is also in the northeast part of the county, and Jefferson Township is in the same area along Clark State Road east of Babbitt. It is also by the name of Farms at Jefferson, but this subdivision is for Phase 5. And again, this resolution is for the final plat. Will include the signing of the final plat Mylar, which I will deliver to the courthouse later today, and would appreciate the consideration in regards to timeliness and safety concerns of COVID-19 that some commissioners consider allowing Clerk Dean Hindenlang to sign on their behalf with the initials to the right of that signature. Any questions? I request your approval. Thank you.
If there are no further questions, I'll move for passage of 54520.
Again, with my position of that last part being, it's not what I want to do. Just want to be real clear about that. And so, but I second.
Moved and seconded, and just so I've been clear, I recognize your notes, Commissioner Boyce, and I will obviously respect those, just so I've stated it very plainly.
Perfect. Thanks, Dean.
Of course. Moved and seconded. Voting. Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 545-20 has been adopted.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. The sheriff.
Resolution number 546-20. Resolution authorizing a contract with Safeware Incorporated for delivery and installation of a replacement tactical target system at the Sheriff's Office firing range in the amount of $164,999.97.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dave Masterson, representing Sheriff Dallas Baldwin. This resolution approves a contract with Safeware Incorporated through a cooperative agreement with Omnia Partners to replace the target system at the training academy. As mentioned, it's roughly $165,000 and will be paid for out of continuing education funds that have been reimbursed from the Ohio Attorney General throughout the past several years. The current system is over 18 years old and is in need of replacement, and the funds utilized are non-general funds received as stated through the Attorney General's office. Pending any questions, I ask approval of this resolution.
I do have a question about this one in terms of how this actually operates. Do you have any knowledge of how this is actually used and what's used for the pop-ups? You know, as we're in this age of sensitivity, do you know what kind of images are used for the tactical target practice?
There's a pot of certified targets that are utilized. It's basically unless it's changed since I've last seen it, it is a target of it's not an actual image of a person, but it would be, I guess, what you would consider a outline of a person. It, has the head, the torso area. I think it's a white sheet of paper with the black line outlining the image of what would be an adult individual. And there's certain areas that are. I'm sorry.
Image. So it's not in a way an image of a person.
No, it's not an actual person or a picture of a person. It's just what would be an outline of that particular individual. It shows center mass.
No racial characteristics, nothing like that.
No. I mean, I can get a picture of it and shoot it over to you if you would like, Commissioner.
I just want to make sure that we're not doing anything to show officers any kind of stereotype views that might just encourage more racial profiling that could be a problem. That's all. I don't need to see it. I trust if you're telling me that it's not going to do that, that it's not going to do that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's, like I said, unless it's changed, which I don't believe it has. I mean, it's just
Could you
standard.
check on that and just let us know? That would be helpful because I don't want to do anything that's going to cause a problem in the community.
Without a doubt, I will get that.
We need to be very careful. And with that, I don't have any other questions. If my colleagues don't, I'll move for passage of this resolution.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 546-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 547-20, resolution authorizing the acceptance of an Ohio Attorney General Law Enforcement Diversion Program grant for the Franklin County Heroin Overdose Prevention and Education HOPE Task Force in the amount of $55,000.
Yes, Commissioners, this resolution approves a grant from the Ohio Attorney General. It runs from July 1st of this year through June 30th of 2021. It's $55,000 to cover overtime expenses for the Sheriff's Office and partner agencies around Central Ohio to help combat the overdose issue. It allows the detectives to try and work backwards to find out who the supplier was so that they can bring charges against the supplier of the drugs as they're able to do so. Without any questions, I ask approval of this resolution.
If there are no questions, I'll move for passage of 54720.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 547-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Dave. Adam H.
Resolution number 548-20. Resolution authorizing a non-general fund transfer of appropriations to support core software applications and building restoration.
Good morning, President O'Grady, Commissioners Brown and Boyce. It's great to see you all this morning. I am Erica Clark-Jones, currently serving as CEO of the Alcohol, Drug, and Mental Health Board of Franklin County, and I'm joined this morning by my colleague, Interim CFO, Mr. Mark Lambert. The Adam H. Board is requesting to transfer $598,349 in levy appropriations from the Grants and Other Governments funds to the Services and Materials line item for calendar year 2020. The transferred appropriations will be used to maintain core softwares just until the transition to SmartCare can be completed. Additionally, the funds will be used to repair the vandalism that occurred on May 30th, 2020 at Adam H's administrative offices located at 447 East Broad Street. The amount of $249,000 will largely be reimbursed by our property insurance. I'd also like to take this moment just to acknowledge the contribution of Public Facilities Management from the county that they made during our building restoration process. Vivian Alexander, Darla Reardon, and Mike Frank engaged the board immediately after the vandalism occurred and were expeditious about securing our facility and have just been a constant source of guidance throughout our building restoration process, and would like to make sure I acknowledge their leadership in this space. Again, Mark Lambert has joined me this morning if you have additional questions.
If there are no questions, I'll move for passage of 54820.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 548-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, child support enforcement.
Resolution number 549-20. Resolution authorizing Franklin County Child Support Enforcement Agency to enter into a contract modification with Goodwill Industries of Central Ohio Incorporated for case management programming related to the implementation of the Journey, A Parent's Voice Early Intervention Pilot Project in the amount of $45,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. Susan Brown, representing the Child Support Enforcement Agency. This resolution authorizes the agency to enter into a contract modification with Goodwill Industries for employment services, counseling, and job placement related to the pilot, the Journey program. The contract is effective March 1st, 2019, and will run through December 31st, 2020, unless extended. The Journey, A Parent's Voice is a child support-led early intervention pilot program that provides a blended curriculum of parenting classes and employment supports at the parent's point of entry into the child support system. The goal of the program is to provide supportive services to clients and to encourage responsible parenting so that they can financially support themselves and their children and avoid the accumulation of deep child support debt. This contract modification makes a technical correction to reconcile a difference in the original contract term between the resolution and the contract in a prior resolution 0219-19. It also allows the CSEA to continue the partnership with Goodwill Industries of Central Ohio through the expenditure of funds previously allocated to the contract. In addition, the Journey program has been approved for participation in a national study of employment best practices through a program called Building Evidence in Employment Services, or BEES. We're in the process of finalizing a contract and scope of work with the social research firm of MDRC and awaiting our federal funding award letter. As such, the Journey program will be funded as a random assignment research trial, and the scope of the project, including the target population, will significantly increase. Pending any questions, I request approval of this resolution.
If there are no questions, I'll move for passage of 54920.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 549-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 550-20, resolution authorizing Franklin County Child Support Enforcement Agency to enter into a contract modification and extension for employment services and outcomes tracking related to the implementation of the Journey, a Parent's Voice early intervention pilot project, in the amount of $105,250.
Again, Commissioners, this is a resolution authorizing the agency to enter into a contract modification with Jewish Family Services for employment services, counseling, and job placement related to the Pilot Journey program. It's also for the same duration, effective March 1st, 2019 through December 31st, 2020, unless extended. This resolution authorizes 2 additional one-year extensions to the contract and allows for the expenditure of funds previously allocated. It includes an additional $60,000 supplemental appropriation, increasing the contract total not to exceed $105,250. Again, this is the same employment services related to the Journey program. So pending any questions, I request approval of this resolution as well.
Great. I'll move for passage of 55020.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 550-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners, and I hope for a calm day for everyone.
Thank you.
Before we move on to economic development and planning, I just received word from the city of Columbus on some good news. I thought everybody would like to know. The city of Columbus will be offering all city employees the ability to work the polls in November without having to use their personal leave. They reached this agreement along with their bargaining units, and so they'll be rolling this out in the next couple of weeks. So we appreciate the city's leadership on this. That should be very helpful and good news to Director Leonard and Deputy Director Payne. So that is another step towards making sure that we have, helping to make sure that we have enough folks working the polls this November. So that is also good news. Let's move on to
before we do, Commissioner, I would just like to thank my team, especially Ross Goldsmith, who's been working tirelessly, and Mike Cochran, but really Ross, who's been working with the city folks, and I know you probably have been too, but we've been working at this for so long, trying to get the city on board, and this is great news. This is really wonderful news, but Ross has been working so hard at this. I really want to just thank him publicly.
Yeah, no, Ross is doing great work. We appreciate all that he's been doing as well. And this is just this is a big deal. We had a long conversation with the governor the other day or yesterday.
Yeah.
And the lieutenant governor, former secretary of state, on this issue. I'm going to be with Congresswoman Beatty here shortly for a press conference about the U.S. Postal Service and trying to do what we can to ensure that they continue funding and getting the issues worked out with the Postal Service. And we're trying to do what we can to get the Secretary of State to reconsider his one drop box per county. mandate that he's put out. Wrote a letter to the editor that we put out. Hopefully, Mr. Kovac, your newspaper will print it. Hopefully, but we're trying to do all we can. Hopefully, we'll get the Board of Elections to agree to advertise the election in the fall. This is between the pandemic and the Postal Service, and there's a lot going on here, so we need to.
Ed has a tough job. He's got a very tough job, and to get 5,000 poll workers, if we could, just take a moment to say, if anybody wants to be a poll worker, we are in need in Franklin County of recruiting 5,000 poll workers. Contact the Board of Elections.
No doubt. And the newspaper seems to understand. They wrote an article this morning talking about, the need in the rural counties, so we this is going to be an election for the ages. There's no question. So this is an issue.
Commissioner O'Grady, I'll just add too. I want to thank Ross and Mike Cochran. It's really great work. Had an opportunity to, as a delegate, comment last night to the media on how things were going with this election. And that actually was one of the sort of themes that seemed to keep coming up on the interviews, that around what perhaps wasn't quite discussed yet in the Democratic convention, which was this need to, strengthen access and strengthen the process. And so I'm really, this is a really strong move. But more importantly, what it says is that Columbus and Franklin County are great partners. This is an area that the county is responsible for. But when you see this kind of partnership, it really is, I think, demonstrative of the quote unquote Columbus way that everyone talks about all the time. That's the best example that I've seen of it, where we all pitch in to do our part, because Lord knows the county has stepped in to support the city, and it's vice versa. And this is what makes this election process so strong. And despite the need that is demonstrated with the poll workers right now, I have no doubt that we'll deliver come election day. I have no doubt that we'll do everything we can to make sure that everybody has access, and everyone has the whatever resource they need to cast their ballot and be a part of the process. So again, to your staff, to both of them, great job, well done, and thanks.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. It's an interesting time, and it's for this particularly interesting week. This is the week of the convention for our party. The Republican convention will be coming up soon. My wife and I were supposed to be in Milwaukee this week. My wife is usually a member of the Rules Committee for the convention, and so it's a little odd to be watching it on television as opposed to participating in it. But it is what it is, and so we're just, as all of us having this meeting on Zoom instead of having this meeting in person. It's just it's a factor of where we are today, and so but it is what it is, and so we need to do what we can to get as many poll workers as we can, and so we commend our friends at the City of Columbus for stepping up. We thank them, and we commend them. So thank you to the mayor and to city council members for your leadership in this regard.
And Mike Shattuck, who really worked with
That's where I got the message
all
from.
at the city. Absolutely. And today's women's suffrage, 100 years for women to get the right to vote.
It's a great anniversary. Too bad that it took until 100 years ago for, but these things, but it's a great anniversary. So anyway, let's move on. Jenny Snap is being very patient. So
Yes, you are, Jenny. Thank you for that. Indulging.
Commissioners, if I may, I noticed Mr. Wilson's hand was up. I just wanted to recognize that before we move on.
Sorry, didn't see you there, Ken. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. This is Kenneth Wilson, County Administrator. I'm sorry, Jenny. You're just going to need to wait a little bit longer because I have to take this opportunity to reach out again and repeat that county employees will have the opportunity to participate in a virtual lunch and learn on Thursday from 12 to 1 via Zoom to learn more about how they can help out with the Board of Elections and the election process, as well as how to be involved in our animal shelter. And additionally, don't forget to complete the census. That's also something that's critical that we don't want lost because right now the clock has been shortened. Right now we have a month less than what we thought we would have. So we really got to work on that. And then lastly, the easiest way to participate as a poll worker is to go to the website workelectionday.com. Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. All right. Dean, if you could move us to Economic Development Planning Resolution.
Thank you, Commissioner. Resolution number 551-20, review of petition to annex 0.4 acres, more or less, from Madison Township to the City of Columbus, case number ANX-15-20.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jenny Snap, Economic Development and Planning. How are you today?
Great. How are you?
Doing well, and happy belated birthday to Commissioner Brown.
Thank you.
So this resolution is to consider an expedited type 2 annexation petition of 0.4 acres more or less from Madison Township to the City of Columbus. The area to be annexed includes property located at 6542 Lehman Road. That's north of Lehman, east of Gender Road, south of Winchester Crossing Boulevard, and west of the Fairfield County line. Petition was filed by the owner and agent, Frida Rabati, and I don't believe he is in attendance this morning. So 100% of the site's perimeter is contiguous with Columbus, and the city passed ordinance number 1744-2020 on July 27th, 2020, indicating the services that will be provided once the annexation is approved and a statement regarding possible incompatible land uses in the zoning buffer. Petition meets all requirements outlined in section 709.021 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, we request your approval.
If there are no questions, I'll move for approval of 551-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 551-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 552-20, review of petition to annex 17.3 acres, more or less, from Prairie Township to the City of Columbus, case number ANX-16-20.
Commissioners, this resolution is to consider an expedited type 2 annexation petition of 17.3 acres from Prairie Township to the City of Columbus. The area to be annexed includes property located at 931 Rome Hilliard Road, which is east of Rome Hilliard Road, south of Fisher Road and I-70, west of I-270, and north of the Conrail Norfolk Southern Rail Line. Petition was filed by agent and attorney David Hodge of Underhill and Hodge, and David is in attendance if you have any question. On behalf of the owners, LJKJ Rome Hilliard LLC, Roy Lee Hoffman, and Ruth Ann Hoffman. 81% of the site's perimeter is contiguous with the City of Columbus, and the city passed ordinance number 1725-2020 on July 27th, 2020, indicating the services that will be provided once the annexation is approved in the statement regarding incompatible land uses in the zoning buffer. Petition meets all statutory requirements outlined in section 709.021 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, we request your approval.
If there are no questions, I'll move for approval of 553-20.
Second.
I'm sorry, Commissioner, we're on 552-20.
Oh, I'm sorry, 552-20.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 552-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 553-20, review of petition to annex 18.943 acres, more or less, from Hamilton Township to the Village of Obetz, case number ANX-17-20.
Commissioners, this resolution is to consider an expedited type 2 annexation petition of 18.943 acres from Hamilton Township to the Village of Obetz. The area to be annexed includes property located at 2675 Bixby Road, 2625 Bixby Road, 3188 Toy Road, and 3184 Toy Road. That's south of Bixby Road, east of Allen Creek Drive, north of Toy Road, and west of West Point Drive and the Obetz Village line. Petition was filed by Agent Michael Powers of Malto Properties on behalf of the owners Betty Woods, James Skunza, Lance Foster, and Rhonda DeVault, Edith P. Snyder, trustee, and Larry E. Alton and Katie Alton. 63% of the site's perimeter is contiguous to the Village of Obetz, and the village passed ordinance number 27-20 on July 27, 2020, indicating the services that will be provided once the annexation is approved and a statement regarding incompatible land uses and the zoning buffer. The petition meets all the statutory requirements outlined in section 709.021 of the Ohio Revised Code, and pending any questions, we request your approval.
If there are no questions, I'll move for passage of 553-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 553-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jenny. Justice Policy and Programs.
Resolution number 554-20, resolution authorizing the execution of documents necessary to transfer the Victims of Crime Act grant funding originally granted to court-appointed special advocates of Franklin County to the Office of Justice Policy and Programs.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michael Daniels, Director of the Office of Justice Policy and Programs. The documents attached are the documents necessary for us to execute with the Ohio Attorney General's Office in order to transfer the Victims of Crime Act funding previously awarded to CASA of Franklin County over to the county and to make the Office of Justice Policy and Programs the responsible administrative body. Pending any questions, we'd ask for your approval.
I'll move for passage of 554-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 554-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Public Facilities Management.
Resolution number 555-20, resolution authorizing recycling of information technology equipment declared obsolete by the Franklin County Automatic Data Processing Board.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is Vivian Alexander, COO, Public Facilities Management. How is everyone this morning?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Doing
Thanks
well,
for
thank you. Thank you. Monthly, this agency is asked by the Data Processing Board to assist with the disposal of obsolete surplus IT equipment. We do so in a manner consistent with the board's commitment to promote sustainable principles in our policy decisions and programs. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this e-waste.
All right. I'll move for passage of 555-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 555-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 556-20, resolution authorizing a contract with Rumpke of Ohio Incorporated for the collection, transportation, and delivery for disposal processing of refuse and recyclable materials generated at and collected from Franklin County facilities in the amount of $628,956.72.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes a contract with Rumpke of Ohio Incorporated for the collection, transportation, and delivery for disposal and or processing of refuse and recyclable materials generated and collected from Franklin County facilities. Rumpke was selected through an ITB process. We appreciate the assistance of purchasing and the prosecutor's office. During this process, the contract includes a not to exceed amount, and the term is for a 3-year period with 2 optional 1-year contract extension periods. Pending any questions, we request your approval of this contract. Thank you.
Commissioners, before you move forward, we do have a public speaker request form for this resolution.
Thank you, Clerk Hennon Lang. We have a public speaker request form from President Nana Watson of the Columbus NAACP. President Watson, you are muted, ma'am. Ma'am, you're muted.
No, I got it. Now you can hear me. Thank you so much. Good morning, commissioners. I bring you greetings from the NAACP. And County Administrator Wilson, when we fight, we win. I'm not so sure if I'm speaking about this resolution or am I going to speak about the topic of the corrections facility. Give me direction, because I can speak on Rumpke if you like.
President Watson, you speak on whatever you'd like.
Okay, good. I don't have any comments for Rumpke. I'm sure that you vetted and made sure that you do have my.
I'm sure that Rumpke is breathing easier this morning knowing that.
Anyway, I'm sure that you have embraced the minority community on this, Miss Alexander, but I want you to indulge me in sharing with you the NAACP's concerns. We have asked many times of Gilbane, general contractor, Smoot Construction, partner, and Prizzuti, which is the owner's representative for the construction facility that is being built. And it's cost $300 million. That's the cost of the project, and it is being paid for with taxpayer money. The NAACP has sent many emails dating back to June to those contractors. We have received a no response, and that is troubling. We understand that elected officials refer to racially identified groups of people by using the term minority. That's fine. I'm unapologetically Black and would like to answers to the following questions. How many Blacks are in management positions in those companies that I referenced earlier? How much does the organization spend annually with Black businesses? Is there a diversity plan within their organization? And if so, who is responsible for compliance and enforcement? These are just a few examples of the questions that I have asked those companies that are constructing the new facility. I haven't received any responses, and really it's an insult to the NAACP. They were requested to submit the information to the NAACP, and I shared with them if they did not, we would speak before the county commissioners and let you know our displeasure with this. Most corporations respect and respond to the NAACP. These entities do not, and it's an insult. And I believe that you should be concerned with their lack of response to the NAACP on the $300 million project that is being paid for with taxpayer monies. We are asking that you, the commissioners, our commissioners, seek the answers to our questions. And perhaps going forward, when you enter into a contract with contractors, that you too ask them how many Blacks they have in key positions. Do they have a diversity and inclusion plan? And I just want to thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Watson. We appreciate that. You know, we put together a diversity and inclusion plan and hold ourselves accountable for it. We appreciate the suggestion that we should hold others accountable to it as well. And we will encourage these 3 companies to make sure that they are responding to your request.
Oh, Grady, if I might, I just want to know why they haven't responded. I mean, this is really flipping the NAACP off, and I am irritated. And in a few minutes, they're going to cause me to issue a press release talking about them not being responsible, not only to the community, but to the NAACP and to the county.
Understood. And you know, I think it's on them to respond to you. And it's unfortunate that they have not done so yet. It's really unfortunate that they have not, and I would encourage them to do so.
May I ask another?
If I could just say, oh, go ahead, Ms. Watson.
I'm just wondering, do I need to send you the emails with the questions that I asked? And perhaps you can send them an email demanding that they answer? I'm sorry, Commissioner Boyce.
No, that's exactly what I was going to suggest. Actually, I was going to just, if you wouldn't mind sending the list of questions, and in fact, I would encourage you that whenever you send them questions on projects that we're doing, copy us so that we can ensure that there's diligent follow up. Because I want to know the answers to the questions too, quite frankly. So, and I think they're legitimate, and I think they should be responded to accordingly. And it's too bad Chris Long is out today. But I would ask the administrator to personally inquire with Gilbane and Pizzuti as well, because they're supposed to be our rep, our owner's rep, and so these are core and principal to the project, and they're legitimate questions, and I want to know the answers personally too.
Commissioner Boyce, this is Commissioner Boyce, President O'Grady, Commissioner Brown. We have Deputy Administrator Long and myself. We have been in touch with them because we are respectful of the fact that President Watson is a member of the construction inclusion team, and that group was put together to serve this very role, to be what I see as a watchdog over the project, to make sure that the goals that we have in place regarding diversity and inclusion and other aspects of the project are met. Jim Russell, the Executive Vice President of Pizzuti, responded, I thought, in a thorough fashion last Friday to President Watson's questions. And as of right now, on Friday, the 14th, Brett Myers, Senior Vice President for the Gilbane Company, has indicated to President Watson that they intend to provide a full response by Friday, August the 21st. And yesterday, we heard from Mark Kane, President and CEO of the Smoot Company, that has indicated that he will provide information no later than the close of business on August the 24th. So at this point in time, we will wait and hold our partners and expect that they will honor their word.
Administrator Wilson, I thank you for that. I don't know. I have not received anything from Mr. Russell from Pizzuti. I have not. I don't have any email from him. I don't have any emails from Gilbane, from Smoot, or Pizzuti. Now, I just wonder, how long is it going to take for them to respond to an email that was sent to them in June? Now, either if they don't have the answers to the questions, as a common courtesy, they need to share that.
I will forward you that email, the email address that it was sent to. I thought that it
Ken, could we all get a copy of the?
I'm glad to hear that as well.
The board was copied on Mr. Russell's response on Friday. I will forward that again because I know you all get a bazillion emails.
Yeah.
I'm really annoyed. I'm really annoyed. I don't know what game they're playing, but clearly they have not caught on to your message that racism is a public health crisis. And I think they fit that category.
Clearly, you deserve to have a response, and I think it's necessary that we make sure that they respond to you, and I think we owe it to get a response as well. This is the largest public project that we've done, and we need to get those answers as well. So I really appreciate you coming here to let us know you've not gotten the answers. We need those answers too. And I appreciate that you've come and let us know that you're not getting that response, so that we can make sure that you get the response and that we get that response.
Ignoring a request of this nature, it isn't something that the county stands for at all, because we are very aware that we are a public entity. And as has been outlined, this is probably the largest project that the county has ever endeavored into, $360 million. So we will follow up and continue to follow up and continue to actively engage in the work of the construction inclusion team. And I'll be forwarding Mr. Russell's response. I have 2 email addresses for you, President Watson. I'm going to send it to both and follow up if you don't receive it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just looking at, now that you reminded me of that, Ken, I'm just looking at the email chain from Friday. And I'm sorry, President Watson, that you are included on this, so maybe it's going to an email that, anyway, we'll clear it up. Clear up the email thing, because it does include you on there, so maybe it's going to an email that, anyway, so thank you for being with us today, and thank you for bringing this up. And Ken, if you can clarify maybe the email situation with President Watson, that would be helpful.
I will. We'll follow up to make sure it's in the receipt.
Great.
So much for the time. Be well.
Thank you.
Thanks for being with us today, President Watson. All right.
Do we need a motion on this resolution?
Yes, Commissioner.
I'll move for passage of 55620.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 556-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Thank you, Vivian. Purchasing.
Resolution number 557-20. Resolution approving purchases for various Franklin County agencies in the amount of $598,699.16.
Good morning, Commissioners. Megan Perry Balanier, Director of Purchasing. This resolution before you requests your approval of 86 purchase orders for which the county auditor has pre-certified available funding. This week, 8 out of 18 eligible POs totaling $63,743 are being presented for award to 1 disadvantaged business enterprise, 2 minority business enterprises, 2 small and emerging business enterprises, and 3 women business enterprises. This represents 44% of the eligible PO volume and 67% of the eligible PO dollar value. Pending any questions, I request your approval of this resolution.
I'll move for approval of 55720.
Second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce?
Yes.
Commissioner Grady?
Yes.
Resolution number 557-20 has been adopted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. The Board of Commissioners.
Resolution number 558-20. Resolution authorizing a consultant contract modification with the Saunders Company, LLC for the continuation of the Franklin County 2020 Census Advertising and Outreach Campaign Plan.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tyler Lowry, Director of Public Affairs. This resolution is a contract extension with the Saunders Group worth up to $48,950. As you know, Saunders has been working with us to promote the 2020 census, which helps determine our representation in Washington and is, of course, vital to securing the funds that the county uses to provide the programs that so many of our residents rely on. So it's vital that we get an accurate count of everyone who lives in our community. The count has been thrown into a little bit of turmoil this year because of the pandemic, but Saunders has done a good job of helping us to promote the census and to reach out to some hard to reach communities. So this extension will allow them to continue that outreach and education to some low response neighborhoods, such as Linden, Whitehall, Marion Village, Eastmore, and others. So they'll be doing some more outreach and education via radio, TV, social media, and even in person. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and I would encourage anyone who hasn't yet taken the census to do so today at my2020census.gov.
Great. If there are no comments, I'll move for passage of 55820.
The only thing I would add, first of all, thanks, Mr. Lowry, for the presentation. And the only thing I would add as Central Ohio's co-chair with Mayor Ginther is that we are fighting very hard to maintain our place as a state, as the seventh largest state. And currently we are at, I believe, 11th right now in terms of our response rate. So we're at something like 60, upper 60s, I want to say like 67 or 68%, somewhere around there. But we've got to do better. And so I just think that that makes this critical. And for those who think that the census, may not have the kind of meaning that we're preaching, look no further than this pandemic crisis, where resources are based on population. So when you see what's happening in California, New York, and in places in Texas, a lot of the deployment of resources and information is based on population density. And so the census becomes critical. Finally, let me just say that we're competing with several states in terms of our congressional representation. That is a direct correlation to resources that come to Central Ohio. Here, I'll put my face on so you guys see. And so it's really just critical and important that this type of resource be as much as we can do, so that we can make sure that everyone knows where to go, what to do, and how important it is. And so I'm grateful for this resolution and enthusiastically second.
Sorry. Commissioner Brown, you did move, correct?
I did.
All right, I apologize.
Come on, Dean.
I know. I was.
Dean, we got you again. This is like twice in a month we caught you.
I was engrossed, Commissioner Boyce. Moved, seconded. Voting, Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution 558-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 559-20. Resolution authorizing the county administrator to enter into a collaboration agreement to participate in the Economic Mobility Coalition. You're on mute, Zach.
Thanks, Dean. Sorry about that. Good morning, Commissioners. Zach Taleric with the Office of Management and Budget. The Economic Mobility Coalition evolved from the previous Thrive initiative. As Lisa Cordes from the United Way mentioned at briefing on Thursday, the Economic Mobility Coalition Steering Group consists of 18 organizations and public members for the county. It includes the county administrator, as well as Erica Clark-Jones, CEO of Adam H., and Joe Mazzola of Franklin County Public Health. The participation and the membership dues this year will help provide facilitation of equity training at various human service agencies, with the goal of providing training to 1,000 individuals by the end of the year. Pending any questions, would ask for your approval of this resolution.
If there are no questions or comments, I'll move for passage of 559-20.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Voting, Commissioner Brown.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 559-20 has been adopted.
Thank you.
Resolution number 560-20. Resolution urging the Secretary of State to proceed with urgency in deploying additional measures, including allowing multiple absentee ballot drop box locations in each county to protect the health, safety, and voting rights of all Ohioans in the 2020 general election.
Good morning, Commissioners. Eric Janis, Deputy Administrator. I'm joined this morning by Lauren Rummel, Director of Government Affairs for the Board of Commissioners, and we're going to present the next two resolutions. This first resolution, as was mentioned earlier in this meeting, Secretary of State LaRose announced his decision last week that he would not allow more than one secure drop box for the return of absentee ballots throughout the state of Ohio. This resolution urges the Secretary of State to reconsider that decision in light of the fact that allowing multiple drop boxes would help control in-person voting and also control in-person voting crowds, I beg your pardon, and also provide voters with options to vote in terms of geographic location. It also reiterates the importance of appropriate guidance and expectation for voters to wear facial coverings if they vote in person. Pending any questions, would recommend approval of this resolution.
I think this is really great, and I appreciate Lauren and Eric and anybody else who had anything to do with drafting this. I think it's really an important resolution to get done. If there are no other comments, I'm happy to move for approval of 56020.
I find it to be a little bit, I don't know. Marilyn, do you really think there are going to be any other comments on this? Commissioner Boyce, do you have anything?
Wishful thinking. And I don't know why you turned to me, Commissioner O'Grady, when you said that. I don't know what's that all about.
Trying to be deferential. I know I have something I'd like to say, so I'm just trying to be deferential with you. If you'd like to comment, go ahead.
Well, I'll comment and let you bring it home, sir. Let me just say that the absurdity of even the need to present this resolution is really troubling. And this, our work as commissioners is to administer county operations at a very broad level. And this is certainly out of the scope of what we do. However, the resolutions are, once again, as I like to think, a part of our value system. They illustrate the value system of the three commissioners and also, generally speaking, Franklin County. And again, the best word I can think of is the absurdity to even have to fight for this. But I'll close by saying this. I think that the public is seeing where or how their access to voting. Commissioner O'Grady, you've been a long advocate of the sort of promotion of election process. We all have, but Commissioner O'Grady, you've really been on the front line with this with regard to the idea that people need to know the advertising element. It's not about advertising Franklin County. It's about ensuring that people know where to go. They know how to get there. They know what time of operations. And I just don't understand this logic of less is better. Less information is better unless you have an ulterior motive. And so I don't want to be political. However, the actions that are happening out of Washington and even on Capitol Square are political. And so therefore, we reject these actions. And more importantly, we're calling on actions not just of Frank LaRose, but Governor DeWine and Dave Yost and all of the other statewide office holders to do the right thing and to ensure that folks who are disabled, senior citizens, other folks who may have challenges with transportation, give them a chance to be a part of the electoral process the best we can do. We've got this early vote process, lasts for 30 days, but you think of all the things that happen on a weekly basis, from work to school and now this COVID-19 environment. It is our responsibility to provide every possible way and platform for people to be able to access the voting process, and to lessen that in any form, in any way, is a demonstrative declaration that you don't believe in the democratic process. And that's unfortunate and sad, but I think this resolution, I know none of this is very statesmanlike, but I just, this is ridiculously absurd that we even have to have this conversation. And I think this resolution captures the point. Thank you, Deputy Administrator Janice and our Government Affairs person, Lauren Rummel, for working on this so diligently and being so reactive to this on so many levels. And from the drop boxes to the mailboxes, we need to do more, not less. So thanks for letting me speak.
Well, first I would say thank you to Deputy Director Janice and Government Affairs Director Rummel for the work that you put in here. And thank you to my colleagues for being so professional and being so, trying to do so much to be, as non-political as possible. I can't do that anymore. I have been trying to do that for, I don't know how, but, when you see what's coming out of Washington, where, we're defunding the post office right before the election, where we're, where we see what's happening, where the president's defunding the post office with, his political crony running the post office, where Senator McConnell won't consider, doing what's right here and bringing folks back in the Senate back to even consider it at the moment. When you see Secretary of State LaRose making an argument that, every county should only have one drop box during the pandemic, when he's comparing counties, like Vinton County and Noble County and Morgan County with a minuscule population of, 12, 14, 15,000 residents to counties like Franklin County and Cuyahoga County. We've got 1.3 million people that live in this county. And we're going to have one drop box. I mean, that's to use my colleague's phrase, that's a ridiculous notion. How does one drop box help Franklin County? So what we're talking about is voter suppression, and that's just plain and simple. It's organized, coordinated voter suppression, and Frank LaRose is assisting in that voter suppression. The president's leading the charge, and Frank LaRose is assisting in it. And to call it anything else is just it's ridiculous. It's just quote me if you want, Mr. Kovac. You're more than welcome to it, because I'm tired of it. It's exactly what it is. And if Frank LaRose was with us this morning, I would say that to his face. It's voter suppression to think that Franklin County needs and can only be and can be fairly serviced with one drop box. It's a ridiculous notion. And Cuyahoga County is the same way. Hamilton County is the same way. We made these points, yesterday in our call with the governor. I don't think any county should have one drop box, even the smallest of counties with the fewest of residents, because to make somebody have to drive, that far to vote is a terrible idea. But the leadership of each county should be able to decide how many drop boxes are appropriate, what the expense of that should be, and where they should be located, how they should be secured. Director Leonard, Deputy Director Payne, their team at the Board of Elections should be making those decisions, not the Secretary of State sitting, on the 14th floor. Or no, I take that back. I don't know where he's sitting nowadays. Who knows where his office is, but not somebody sitting in downtown Columbus. So, there's just too much going on that's making people's confidence in this election this fall wane. And, we have been doing too much to try to ensure that people have a safe and fair election this fall. And there are too many people that are fighting against that option and that opportunity. And so thank you, Eric and Lauren, for all the work that you did. on this resolution. I'm just concerned that it's not going to matter. So enough. I've said enough. I think, Marilyn, you made a motion.
I did.
Did she? Okay, second.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Boyce, I didn't hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 560-20 has been adopted. Resolution number 561-20. Resolution urging Congress to support and enact legislation to protect and sustain service levels at the United States Postal Service, especially in the face of COVID-19 pandemic, and affirming the value of the USPS in connecting people with one another and with vital supplies, services, and their right to vote.
Commissioners, as you know, every resident in Franklin County, be they seniors, veterans, residents with disabilities, small business owners, members of our rural communities, and yes, voters benefit from the services from the United States Postal Service. The Post Office provides personal correspondence, financial and tax records, legal records, news materials, foodstuffs, and prescription medications, in addition to voting and election-related materials to all of our 1.3 million residents. As you are well aware, there have been several recent policy changes announced by the Postmaster General that collectively reduce the nation's mail sorting capacity and has a particular impact here in Central Ohio, where it was recently acknowledged that Columbus will have the fourth drop in the country mail sorting capacity as a result of these policy changes. The resolution before you urges Congress to act diligently and swiftly to enact legislation to protect the services of the United States Postal Service during this particular time. And the resolution also designates that your final resolution, pending any questions, would recommend approval.
You know, I'm going to move 561-20 forward for passage, but I do want to say I know many people who get their prescription medications through the mail. This is just unconscionable. This is just something that I cannot abide. I know there's political issues related to this, but this is about health and safety and dollars for those with disabilities, Social Security money. This is about people not getting things that they absolutely need every day. And this resolution, above anything else we do as a board, not in our direct purview, and yet is absolutely in our direct purview. This resolution is absolutely essential. And I'm just beyond livid when I see what's been done with the Postal Service. To politicize it is one thing, but to not get people their medicines and their checks and their disability payments is beyond anything I could imagine in my life. So I move for passage of it, and I'm just sickened by the need to do it.
The only thing I'll add is that, you know, again, I think this is borderline criminal. And I just think that, you know, the U.S. Postal Service is very much a part of the infrastructure and fabric of living in the United States of America. It is as fundamental as housing. You know, it is as fundamental as transportation, the ability to communicate, the ability to receive and send things. Some of them may be life and death in nature, death in nature. And so I just, you know, it's sad that there is even the ability to do these things. And that's the part that reinvigorates me in my own political endeavors. I really believe that, and as you said so well, Commissioner Brown, this may not be in our purview, but it's directly in our purview because it's our purview and our responsibility to speak on everything that we see as an injustice to our residents, the people that we represent. And that's really what this declaration and this resolution is all about. And I enthusiastically, once again, second your motion.
There's nothing else to add. I've been saying it for the last couple of days. I'm going to go say it again at noon. There's nothing else to add. You guys have covered it all. You've covered it all.
Moved and seconded, voting Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce,
Yes, I'm sorry.
Commissioner O'Grady.
Yes.
Resolution number 561-20 has been adopted.
Thank you, Commissioners. And I want to very briefly just acknowledge all the many hands that were helpful in putting these two resolutions together over the last week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. That brings us to the end of our agenda. Clerk Hindenlang, do you have any journalizations for us today?
No, Commissioner.
Okay, so that concludes our agenda for the day. Mr. Kovac, do you have any questions for the board?
No questions this morning. Thanks, Commissioners.
Is there any other media on the call or on the video conference? I guess not. So that ends our meeting. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.